Hello, this is Mr. Alvey, and you're looking at a zebra. We're going to practice the selection tools, and we're going to learn a little bit about modes with the paintbrush. And we're going to color the zebra stripes. All right, to get started, just to remember from selection tools, we have the marquee selection tool, the polygonal lasso tools, and our favorite is the quick selection tools. We're going to be using those to select some of the stripes. And then we're going to grab the paintbrush and we're going to play with the modes and we're going to paint the stripes. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to make a selection. I'm going to paint all the white stripes. Okay, so I'm going to use the quick selection tool. And I can grow and shrink the size of the quick selection brush by using the bracket keys next to the P key. And I'm going to make it a medium size there. And then I'm going to select. Now, if it selects too much, you hold down Option. And that allows you to subtract. I only want the white stripes. Sounds like the name of a band. Okay, I might need to make my brush a little smaller. The selection tool is great because it's just you just kind of paint it and it guesses what you're trying to go for based on the contrast. It tries to find the object you're trying to get. And you can usually get pretty good selection. Minus to subtract. You can usually get a pretty good selection with the selection tool. Just a little bit of refinement is all you need after that. All right. I'm just going to select just a few more stripes. Let's get this big one right here. Now, this should give us an idea. Now, you're not going to do all of them. You'll have an assignment where you have to do all of them. So I've got my stripes selected. Now, I could just select one at a time, but I just select them all, and then I can show you. Now, we're going to go to the bottom of the toolbar. Almost to the bottom. And you've got these two boxes with color in them. A lot of times it'll be just black and white. You can always go back to black and white real fast here. You can switch the colors real easily with this little arrow thingamajigger. But if you double click, the one on top is the foreground color, meaning the color you're going to be painting with on the top, the foreground. The one on the bottom is the background. So if you're going to delete something, that's the color that's going to be left behind. We're going to focus on the foreground. You can double click on the foreground and a color picker pops up that allows you to pick any color you want. You can choose a hexadecimal value, you can choose a huge saturation and black value. You can use, is it black? Red, green, and blue value, CMYK, cyan, magenta, something in black, yellow and black. I just like to, you can also just pick a color. You just move up and down the slider, find a color you like, and pick one, and it'll tell you the values you want. So you can pick a color. So these stripes, my zebra is going to have, we'll go with some pink. Now, the thing I was going to teach you is about the paintbrush. I'm going to choose the paintbrush on the toolbar. You can you can click the letter B to get the brush tool really easy. Okay, and you're going to look up at the top, and when you select a tool, there's always going to be extra settings for each tool at the very top. And we're going to play with some of these. Okay, by default, we should have 100% opacity, 100% flow, smoothing is probably going to be 10%. We can change any of these. And the mode is a fun one. The mode is how the color is applied. Okay, by normal, it will paint over everything it sees. There won't leave nothing will be seen through. It'll all look the same. just goes to that color. Now that doesn't often look very organic or very real, like on a zebra. There's a lot of texture on the zebra that we want to leave intact. So we might choose something else like darken. Now you can see it's adding pink, but it's also remembering all the shadows and all the values that were in the white, leaving the shading and some of the details of that texture behind. Okay, let's try another color. Maybe a blue color. See how darken goes for that one. Ooh, that one works out well too. Let's try and see what happens with a different mode. Ooh, multiply. A little bit different feel, a little darker. I'm going to try that one. Shrink that down a little bit. Ooh, I like multiply on that white. Color burn would kind of burns it in. Looks a little more neon. Linear burn. Still another burn. And then the thing you should do is just kind of grab a couple different pictures, grab a couple different colors, and just go through all the modes and just kind of get a feel for what the modes do. These are all darken ones. This is the lighten section. There's screen and lighten. With this white color, lighten might not be our best bet, but you can see it lightens it a little bit based on that color. Color dodge. Just kind of play with it. See which one. There's overlay. Overlay is kind of nice. That one's leaving a lot of the details behind. Not as much as the color though. Okay, and then there's some fun ones down here. There's just plain hue. And saturation, difference. Difference is fun. It does the opposite. So lots of different modes for painting. Ooh, that one's kind of the opposite. Okay, I'm going to choose a random color with this opposite. Maybe see what the opposite of green is. Ooh, purple. That's pretty cool. Wonder what the opposite of purple is. I'm betting it's green. Ooh, yeah. So difference kind of does the opposite. Exclusion. Not a big difference on that one. Subtract. Ooh. Okay, so play with all the different modes, and always make sure when you're using your paintbrush for the first time, you might want to change it back to normal when you're done, because it'll remember that, and you might get frustrated a little later down the road. Now, another thing you could do when you're painting this zebra, maybe I'll select a few more stripes. Let's say I like those stripes. Let's get a few on the face. Maybe I would just select his head and undo the black. Yeah. Is it black on white or is it white on black? You never know with a zebra. I'm going to hold down Option and just undo the... Oh, that didn't work out. Smaller brush. Just going to subtract just the black. Ring, ring. Now, when you're creating Photoshop images, some artists will spend hours working on their selections so that the things they do to their images will look amazing. That's how you can always tell if something's photoshopped. You look at the edges to see how well they did on their selection. So I won't do too much more. Alright, I think I got enough to play with here. Let's see what happens. I'll just play over here a little bit. Okay. So now I could just say keep it a normal brush, and I could just change the opacity. The opacity says how much paint's going to be applied to it. So the opacity gives me kind of the same feel. I get a see-through and it's not applying. It's giving me kind of an opaque feel. Okay. But if I kept doing that, it would eventually go until it's just a normal paint. So you can do a transparent by changing the opacity. The flow is a little bit different, it's just how much of the paint it lets out at a time. So it's kind of like you can lightly brush it on, and then just the more you color on it, the more paint gets let out. It's more for getting the feel of actual paints or something. Feels like you're airbrushing a little bit. So lots of different ways of painting that. Let me get some different colors in there. Have some fun. Some orange. There we go. Ooh. Okay. Now I'm not doing very detailed. I expect you to be a little more detailed. I want you to paint the whole zebra. Paint all the white stripes, lots of different colors. Have some fun practicing your selections. Try different modes and different settings for your brush. Get a good feel of it, how to paint it, so you can keep a lot of the details of the zebra with it also being able to change the colors. Okay, so give that a shot. Play around with that. We got the brush, we got modes, opacity, and again with opacity and flow, don't forget to put those back when you're done, because it can be frustrating on your next project when they're still stuck at that. Alright, so there's a little bit about the paintbrush, about selections, about coloring, and about modes. Alright, thank you.